Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be just an overview video. I did receive a awesome package today. Always cool to come home and have the X2H waiting for you at your doorstep. I have both the mini and I have the regular size. And I have not put any game time in on these yet, but I do want to get out a video for you guys showing you an overview of the size, how it looks, and just kind of go over how it feels in my hand compared to the Pulsar X2. And then for the smaller version, we'll take a look and see how it compares to some of the smaller mice in my collection. Let's check it out. So just cutting right into some of these size comparisons, just taking the small compared to the medium, these are substantially different in the hand. Out of my first impressions, I would say the small actually reminds me a lot of the Cooler Master MM712, just not as bulbous feeling. It's cut down a little bit. It's like an MM712 on a diet is how I kind of feel with it. And I haven't even directly compared them side by side yet. I will in a little bit. I'm going to put the small to the side and we'll start with the regular. The regular X2H compared to the Pulsar X2, these feel substantially different. The X2H seems a little bit smaller, potentially in length, but the main difference is going to be that hump feel. On the X2, it's more of a targeted hump, and that hump, when I'm gripping the mouse and holding the mouse, kind of hits me right there in between my index finger and my middle finger. With the X2H, it's more of a rounded out hump. I almost feel like I have a greater support across this entire area of my hand. And with that, I feel like track heavy games like Apex are going to be substantially better with tracking, going from side to side very quickly and even vertically. It feels like this would be a very good fit for me for Apex. Again, I haven't tested it yet. It will be interesting to see because I perform very well on the X2. The X2, definitely, you get more of a sense of the narrowness of the mouse and how long it feels because with that hump on the X2H actually makes the mouse feel not quite as long and not quite as narrow because your hand just gets more of a sense of mouse underneath that area of your hand. It is a kind of high-hitting hump, and it feels pretty good. Again, it's almost like the MM712. It doesn't quite strike me in hand feel like a ZA13. Unfortunately, I don't have one to direct compare, but I do have also Vaxi's NPO1S, and you can see the length of the mouse side by side. The NPO1S obviously being substantially different from the X2H. I just wanted you guys to kind of get a size comparison. The NPO1S being a lot flatter than the X2H. And obviously having a more narrow feel, feels a little bit longer in the hand as well because of that hump hitting you on the X2H. First feel of the mouse, it feels very good. It feels like something, again, that I'm really going to enjoy for both tag shooters, but primarily for Apex. I feel like that extra stability with that hump being a little bit wider feeling, providing a little bit more stability for me. It feels like it's going to be a pretty good fit. Getting to the small feels substantially different, again, than the medium. It actually feels really good. And small mice, for me, I get a little bit picky. I get a little bit fidgety with small mice. This, with that extra stability here, you actually really feel it on the small size. And it's kind of like the sense that I get on the Orochi when the mouse is providing me kind of like that wide base. And even though it is small, it almost fits in like that little pocket of my hand almost perfectly. And I kind of get that sense with the X2H small size. It feels like it's going to be really good. The weight balance, everything feels great. But just looking at that shape and how it feels, it just reminds me of that stability that I am getting on something like the Orochi. Again, I think the most similar feeling, just going off my memory, is the MM712. And comparing them side by side, it is definitely a little bit similar. It feels as though the side tapers in a little bit more, so you get a little bit more of an ergonomic grip on your thumb side, as well as the right side of the mouse. It feels like it kind of like narrows in a little bit more. Definitely get a better ergonomic groove on the left side. The hump feels actually pretty similar to me. And then mouse 1 and mouse 2 feel as though they go down towards the pad a little bit faster. So it almost feels like, to me, a lower and just slightly less bulbous with better ergonomic curvature MM712. I think that's going to be the closest comparison for sure. You guys can see it though next to the Atlantis Mini. Very different mouse. The Pulsar X2H definitely focusing on that back hump and providing that stability in that area, particularly for my hand. I think this mouse is definitely going to be a hit for those who really enjoy the MM712, which again, I think actually has a really large market of consumers so far that have tried this mouse that have really enjoyed it. Mouse, again, is very different than the Atlantis Mini and the Viper Mini Signature Edition, but you guys can see it here side by side to kind of get a size comparison. The Viper Mini actually seeming to come up quite a bit more in this region of the mouse. But again, the Viper Mini also feeling, just because of that back hump being a little bit more under palm filling, the mouse actually feels as though I get a more substantial grip with it. I get a more significant sensation of the mouse making contact with my hand underneath that, to me, feels as though it's going to provide me a lot more stability than something like the Viper Mini Signature Edition and the Atlantis Mini as well. Atlantis Mini feeling, again, more aggressive and a little bit flatter in feel. All three of these mice, though, if you prefer small mice, all three of these mice are extremely good. And just to get the MM712 in the mix as well, you guys can kind of see everything all together here and how that Mini is going to compare. Again, I think just off the bat, as long as this mouse performs well in game and there's not any significant issues, which I doubt there will be, I think those who liked the MM712 are really going to have a kick-ass time on the Mini. So that is going to be it for this one, guys. Like the polarity pad, it's time for me to get these tested and to determine which one I like more, either the medium or the small, or to even determine if I like this better than the Pulsar X2. It will certainly be interesting, but I do think my first impressions are leading me to believe that a lot of people are going to enjoy this mouse, particularly the small. I think it fills a gap in the market that provides a mouse that is not only small in the hand, but feels like it has a lot of stability for tracking. The medium, the hump also feels extremely good. So again, I've got to get these tested and see where the path is going to lead me and what my decision ultimately will be. So I will definitely update you guys in the future. I hope it helped, guys. If it did, please leave a sub to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next review. Peace.